Good morning. No, really? It's a great morning. Happy December. Yay, right? Hooray. And what better way to start this wonderful season than to be here with a lot of fabulous Western New York women. So thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Christina Abt, and I'm very honored to be here today and to serve as today's MC for this premier TEDx Buffalo Women's Conference. We are going to follow in the TED ideal, of course, of riveting talks delivered by remarkable people. As my first duty today, I want to welcome our TEDx Buffalo women audience members gathered here today at the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library. I also want to welcome our audience members that are around the nation, including Washington, D.C., and literally around the world on the internet and social media. In fact, today, more than 140 TEDx women events are happening around the world in locales such as Toronto, Costa Rica, Johannesburg, Nigeria, Singapore, San Francisco, and, Buffalo, New York. The overarching ideal of TED is to highlight and promote ideas worth spreading. That ideal is accomplished at TED national forums that are held twice a year. However, to further expand upon their mission, TED organizers created TEDx to further as a way for communities, organizations, and individuals to promote ideas worth sharing at a local level within their own communities. Today, TEDx Buffalo Women personifies that ideal by organizing speakers and TED Talks live streaming video in a combination designed to further inspiration, learning, and wonder, and to provoke conversation that matters among our in-person audience. The women involved in organizing TEDx Buffalo Women have given the best of their remarkable talents and their time in putting together this event, and I would like to take a moment to recognize them. Sari Becker, Diana Chihak, Ann Conable, Heather Jason, Renee Martinez, Laura Monti, Sabina Ramsey, and Cecily Rodriguez. To these ladies, please know that today you are providing the world with the opportunity to be inspired and enlightened by some of the many talented and determined Western New York women in our community, and for that, we thank you. Good, I like you. Right on cue. I like it. Good job, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on to a few event details. If you have any questions or need assistance today, please ask one of our committee members or a volunteer. You'll recognize all of us by our lovely red carnations. Also, TED is a phenomenon of the internet culture. In that spirit, we encourage you to tweet throughout the day today about this event. For those of you who may be new to tweeting, we have a Twitter tutor set up out in the lobby. Please feel free to go out and be educated. I know, I practiced that all night. For those of you who are old hands at tweeting, the hashtag for today's event is hashtag TEDxBuffaloWomen. We ask that you please refrain from bringing food or drinks into the library auditorium today. We have planned a noon lunch for you at the Hotel Lafayette right across the street, and we will have a coffee break here in the library lobby later in the afternoon. And last but not least, we hope that you will make a point to stay with us for the entire day until 3 o'clock. And just as a little incentive, we have delightful gift bags for you that we will distribute only at the end of the afternoon. And we want to thank our wonderful sponsors. We have a terrific array of sponsors for this conference that have helped us in so many ways, including your gift bags. And you will see them listed on your notebooks, on the website, and on the tables out in the lobby today. We want to thank each of our sponsors for their contribution to TEDx Buffalo Women. This event would not have been possible without their support. We would also like to thank one sponsor in particular, First Niagara Bank, who stepped up as TEDx Buffalo's women's primary sponsor. We deeply appreciate First Niagara's commitment to helping to create this community conversation about Western New York women in leadership. One more note about those nifty little gift bags. One of the many wonderful goodies that you will discover in your bag is a ticket to our TEDx Buffalo Women After Party that will be in the Pan American Grill again at the Hotel Lafayette. At the end of today's conference, please join us there to continue the many stimulating conversations that we are about to begin. And now, let us begin. The TEDx Buffalo Women speakers who will challenge, enlighten, and inspire us all today were chosen through a video submission process that's focused on the TEDx theme of the space between. Competition was tough, and every woman who submitted a 2-minute video was outstanding. We encourage you to take a few moments and go to our website, which is TEDxBuffaloWomen.com, to read the bios of our outstanding speakers and realize their exceptional accomplishments. Also, if our presenters today should inspire any of you to maybe want to participate in next year's TEDx Buffalo Women, please know that our website will offer submission information in mid-August next year, or you can email us on the address listed in your notebooks. And now, it is my honor to introduce our first TEDx Buffalo Women speaker. Cecily Rodriguez is not only the first presenter to step on stage today, she is also a key member of the TEDx Buffalo Women Committee. Truth be told, Cecily has been the glue that has kept this committee organized and on track. Today, Cecily will speak about the spaces in the traditional work world that are often divided between people who have wives and people who are wives. Optimistically, and how those spaces can literally squeeze women right out of leadership roles. Optimistically, Cecily suggests that there is a new generation of women who are evolving a flexible paradigm between those spaces that is changing the work world and literally helping women to advance. Please help me as we welcome Cecily Rodriguez.
Good morning. Thank you for that nice welcome. So I want to tell you a story today about a woman. She's a woman not unlike myself, mid-30s, mid-level in her career, ambitious, career aspirations of moving up in the corporate world, possibly to senior manager or even CEO someday. But this woman, she has a problem. She has something called a personal life. And in that personal life, she takes on many roles. She's a wife, mother, sister, neighbor, caregiver, philanthropist, and all-around super heroine. Now, the reason this personal life is a problem is because it could very well prevent her from reaching her career dreams. And that might sound strange to some people, but my assumption is that there are many people in the audience today who understand exactly what I'm talking about. Because you see, women have what it takes to be leaders. We have the education. 51% of college students today are female. We have the numbers in the workforce. More than half of the professional workforce is made up of women. We have the innate leadership skills, communication, collaboration, emotional intelligence, just to name a few. But despite all this, the number of women in leadership positions has hit a plateau, and it can't be blamed on a lack of qualified candidates. You see, I apologize. We've hit a plateau. And this woman, she's frustrated because she doesn't know how to get around that plateau. And she's thinking of leaving corporate America. And she's not alone. Women are today leaving corporate America in disproportionate numbers. And social scientists have determined that one of the main barriers that women face is a lack of flexibility in managing their home and work lives. And I want to be really clear about that point. It's not a lack of ability and it's not a lack of desire. It's a lack of flexibility. And this woman, she's the primary caregiver for her children, her elderly parents, her sick family members, and it's a drain on her time, her energy, her bank account, and certainly on her opportunities for career advancement. And what's happening is she's crying uncle, and she's saying, no thanks. She's being offered opportunities. She wants the opportunities, and she's opting out and saying, no thanks, I can't do this, not in the current paradigm of how work is set up. Because you see, work is set up for people who have wives, not for people who are wives. It was and is set up for people who have someone at home to take care of the cooking and the cleaning and the child rearing and organizing the calendar and running the errands and writing the thank you cards. Now, there's no fault or judgment in that. I don't know how else it could be set up given how long only or mostly men have been in the leadership roles. But this is how men work. You see, they drive to an office and they sit in a chair behind a desk in a cubicle, and they go to meeting after meeting after meeting, all of which they attend face to face. And they stay late to rub elbows with the boss. And while they're there, they give very little thought, if any, to life outside of those four walls. And that's not how women work, because this is a very traditional masculine way of working, and women don't think about just one thing. So here's the challenge. You see, I don't think that this woman is the one who needs to change. I think it's the organizations who are holding on to this very traditional idea of what work looks like. And right now, this generation of women, we are the space between the old paradigm, which is inflexible and really only allows those willing to sacrifice their personal lives the opportunity to move to the top, and the new paradigm, which, through flexibility, will allow women to stay part of the pipeline through all stages of their life, so that when leadership positions are available, they're still there to say yes. Now, this is an issue that we can continue to ignore, as we've been doing, but studies show that the pipeline is already in peril. Researchers and recruiters expected to have, by this point, a very robust pipeline of talented women poised to take on leadership positions, and what they have instead is more like a garden hose. Now, there are plenty of men out there vying for these jobs, so some people would say, does it really matter if women take on these roles? Well, the White House Project did a study this year where they found that organizations who have women on their board average 14% net income growth over the course of 6 years, unlike organizations who have no women on their board averaging only 10. Catalyst did a study where they looked at 350 of the Fortune 500 companies, and they found that those who have the most women in their senior management recognize higher returns on equity by more than a third. So when this woman that I mentioned earlier, when she opts out, it's because companies aren't making easy a way for her to combine her home and work lives. And some organizations, they feel like it's not our job to accommodate people's personal lives. Or I've heard it's not our goal to help employees or women balance their home and work lives. Now listen, if that's your organization, you are perfectly entitled to that MO. However, I challenge you to think about what it is undoubtedly costing you in talent, retention, culture, branding, turnover, absenteeism, and ultimately your bottom line. Anne-Marie Slaughter, she wrote an article this summer published in the Atlantic Monthly. It's an excellent article. If you haven't read it, please do. It's called Why Women Still Can't Have It All. She was giving a speech on it, and she talked about the fact that because women of this generation will live longer, they should enjoy having a family while still aiming for a successful career. I think that that is great advice, but research shows that when women try and do this in a traditional work environment, they burn out and they opt out. So what are you doing today to make sure your talented women can stay part of the pipeline? Are you ignoring or acknowledging the responsibilities that women in your organization have outside of work? Are you looking, when you think about who to promote, are you looking only at the women who are there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., who are on their Blackberries from dawn till dark, who sacrifice family vacations and holidays so they can get that report done? Because if you are, I'm telling you, you are missing out on this woman who is talented but who has a personal life, who takes precedent right now with young children and elderly parents. Within the next 5 to 10 years, female leadership will be a need. Harvard Business Review wrote an article where they talked about the fact that organizations who want their talented females to reach their full potential, they're going to have to do several things. But the first of which is they're going to have to acknowledge the child and elder care needs that women in the workforce today face. Now, my guess is if I asked how many of your organizations somewhere in a pamphlet or a handbook or a poster have the word flexibility written, asking it of your employees, my guess is that probably at least half of you would raise your hands. What I don't know is, if I asked how many of you offer flex work arrangements, how many hands would go up? Based on the research, it would be very few. So what I'm wondering is, why are organizations asking something of their employees which they themselves aren't willing to give? If organizations want this woman to stay part of the pipeline, then flex is a 4-letter F word you should be using at work. And there are several ways you can do that. You can offer flex time, telecommuting, compressed work week, job sharing, results-oriented work, or some combination of several of those. Now, if you're a leader in your organization, there are several ways you can help your organization flex. First, flex every day. You see, true work-life flexibility should be an inclusive part of your company culture and strategy, and the number of people that it's available to should outweigh the number of people it isn't. I think that I hear the argument, people say, well, listen, the jobs in my company, flex won't work for them. I think that there are some jobs out there for which flex work arrangements maybe wouldn't work, but I think it's far fewer than what the boss thinks. And look at West Her, car dealership. They offer their sales associates the opportunity to set their own hours, providing they meet a minimum annual sales quota. And that's a job you wouldn't traditionally think about as being able to use a flex work arrangement for. Second, when you flex, tell everybody. So if you offer flex work arrangements, publicize it. Local company headquartered here is called Synacor. I'm sure everyone's heard of them. They offer flex work arrangements, and they're not shy about it. It's all over their website. And think about the reputation they have with both active and passive job seekers. Everybody's connected to a Synacor recruiter. Third, help others flex. Nearly 1 in 3 supervisors say that employees who take advantage of flex work arrangements will never advance in their organizations. Now, these supervisors are sort of like unused muscles. You've got to loosen them up and help them understand how flexing can help them in terms of absenteeism, turnover, performance ratings, and overall their bottom line. And fourth, I want you to ask yourself, have you flexed lately? Now, no employee in their right politically savvy mind is going to take advantage of a flex work arrangement if their boss isn't doing it too. But maybe flex isn't for you, and that's okay. Then at least show your support for it when someone asks you for a flex work arrangement. Because keep in mind, particularly if it's a woman, what you're really saying yes to is keeping that very talented woman as part of the pipeline for your organization. Now, if you're not a leader, you're not off the hook. Stop suffering through a workday that kills you with stress. And raise your hand and please ask for what it is you really need and want. You need to take care of your ailing mother on Wednesdays, then ask for a compressed work week. If your husband loses his job and you need to save every penny that you can, then please ask to telecommute. If you're having marital issues and you need to see a therapist at 2:30 on Thursdays, then please ask for flex time. But understand that you deserve to work in a way that does not ruin your health and doesn't ruin your relationships with your family. So let me tell you what this particular woman did. 6 years ago, I put together a proposal to work from home 2 days a week. And for when I came back from maternity, and I pitched it to my 2 male bosses in my predominantly male, very conservative manufacturing company in a department that had never offered a flex work arrangement before. So I had good odds there. My career was really important to me, but I didn't want to sacrifice it when I became a mom. However, I also wasn't going to have a child only to never see her. So I needed a middle ground, and I got it. And I will tell you that on those days that I worked from home, I was more productive and had faster turnaround times than I ever did or have in the office. Over the course of the 4 years, I did a number of things. I managed and built a $10 million global program that was nominated for 2 industry awards. I earned certification after certification. I led global projects, and I earned a master's degree. I'm telling you, Flex is a powerful tool of productivity. And if my bosses had said no when I made that proposal, I would have looked for a new job. And I would have robbed both myself and them of all these gains and more. Now, I've also asked for a flex work arrangement and not gotten it. And I share that with you because I need you to know it doesn't always go that way. You need it, you ask for it, and you don't get it. And you're going to have to figure out what to do with that. But I want to share with you a lesson that I took away from one of my grad school professors, Dr. Melissa Wanzer. She's here today from Canisius College. She taught us a phrase, don't ask, don't get. And I want you to burn this into your memories, because when you ask for a flex work arrangement and the answer is no, the first time, the second time, the fifth time, remember, don't ask, don't get, which means you need to keep asking until you find the boss or the department or the company that says yes, because you deserve it, and frankly, so do they. Now, if your organization doesn't already offer a formal or informal flex policy, then I hope and pray that something I've said here today gets this on your radar for 2013. If you need a little more convincing, let me show you 2 organizations that have already successfully flexed. Sun Microsystems, 40% of their employees work flex hours and or off-site. And look at the gains in productivity they have. Most importantly, they found that those who work from home score highest on performance ratings, and those who work in the office score the lowest. PNC, almost 50% of their 25,000 employees, so don't tell me it can't be done with small organizations, if they can do it, they work some type of flex arrangement. Look at their absenteeism, dropped from 60 to 9 days. These are organizations that are showing you it can be done. Work can be done anywhere, anytime. And it's that shift in paradigm that will keep women as part of the pipeline so we can say yes. Now, my question to you is, are you willing to flex? Thank you.